Welcome back to the Trick Talking Meat Podcast. I am your co-host, Brother John, and with me, as always, the Smoke Show.
Allie.
Spoiled bad herself. Thanks for tuning in. Short and sweet, though.
Yeah.
Are you wearing a Sam Goody t-shirt?
I am.
No fucking shit. Look at that. Duke is wearing a damn Sam Goody shirt. Is that an employee shirt from back in the day?
Yep.
I have an old coconut shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, I do.
Nice. I remember when you worked there. Yeah.
Every company I used to work for, I kept one of the shirts. Like the rest of them, I'd rag them out and turn them into from washing the car, or cleaning up dog vomit, or should have probably did that while I was still working there. But yeah, I have one. I have all the old Toys R Us and KB Toys shirts. I have a collection of CVS.
Yeah, I didn't get to keep my CVS shirt.
Yeah, short attention span theater. I was like, ooh, shiny.
Talking about this, I know it's recording, but we should have started the thing.
Well, it's fine. We'll just throw an intro on it later.
Yeah.
But
That's what editing's for.
it's what editing. That's why it makes work when he's not here.
Yep.
Because neither of us are doing shit. After we hit stop on the mic, we're done. He's got to go to work for another week.
Do you think that he pays attention to me whatsoever when he's doing
Not a damn bit. This is
editing?
probably the most action you're seeing all week.
He sits there with the headphones on, and I'm like,
no,
and I talk to him, and he doesn't respond, and he's not listening.
Is that a bad thing? This is like those letters. Is it really a bad thing that he's sitting? He's still with you. He's just doing his own thing.
No,
man.
I know. We do.
My wife and I sit in the fucking living room every night and watch TV, and there's probably 7 words between us for 4 or 5 hours. But I mean, we're both watching the show and playing on our phone, and she's doing her bourbon club stuff, and I'm working on this crap. And
yeah, no, I mean,
you're comfortable enough in your relationship where you don't have to fill it with needless banter.
Yeah, and when you do say something like, "Oh, hey, did you see that?" You realize she's been asleep for 4 hours.
That too.
Right.
All of disc 3.
It's literally
I fell asleep.
Did you fucking seriously fall asleep at the end?
The very end.
Oh, get the fuck out of my house.
I had to take a Xanax.
Right. What did you think? Did you watch all of them except they were just season 3?
All of them.
So now I gotta
and the first 2 are they were all right, but
I enjoyed the second season.
I liked the closure of Q.
Oh yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
Because you're my favorite. I was like, they'll answer the question after all these years, why me? It's like, well, every god has a favorite, and, you meant something to me, you mattered to me. And I was like, oh my god, Q. Delancey killing it.
Oh yeah.
I had to take a Xanax, and the medicine took over.
It was time to switch discs, so we switched locations where we were watching. She took a Xanax. And
because my stomach was hurting.
The opening credits weren't even through apparently, and she was out because she didn't remember. She remembered nothing, none of the data stuff, none of that.
I do remember the data stuff.
Is that season 1 or season 3 data stuff?
Season 3.
Okay, yeah, because that shit was awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, so you've made it to the storage facility and the midway through, and they found data.
We're all the way through to the stinger at the very, But she's missed some of it because she has to rewatch now.
Oh, so they found their other ship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I've seen all of it.
Oh, so you only got the last episode then.
Oh, I've already done that.
Finished.
Oh, you've already finished everything.
No, disc was finished, and I looked over.
Then I don't know. Can we talk about it because she's sitting here? Because that shit was amazing.
Right?
As a Star Trek fan.
I woke up at the very, very end.
Yeah, she caught the end.
Okay, so you know about the ship and.
Yeah.
I don't care. Spoilers, man. If you haven't watched it by now and you're listening to this shitty show, then you should have watched spoilers.
Pause the show, watch the show, come back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
When I saw them fucking go back to the space dock museum or whatever, and it's like they had the doors open up and there's the glory of the Enterprise D. I teared up like a girl. I was like, oh my god. My wife's like, you're such a fucking baby. I'm like, you don't understand how much that ship means to me.
Right? Yeah.
No, the whole rap, I was like,
No, every single time the opening started and you hear the theme from First Contact, that's when I start tearing up because that will make me cry at any point in time. I loved First Contact.
Yeah,
and,
that movie was Jonathan Frakes' Andy
his
Warhol
baby.
of his career. I mean, it was
Yep.
so good. I mean, honestly, if you look at they say this only the Star Trek movies that are even numbered are good, and that's probably true. So you got Wrath of Khan, then you had Voyage Home with the Whales.
Yeah.
A lot of people
like that one.
Then you had
the Undiscovered Country where they finally,
yeah,
hooked up with the Klingons and had peace. Generations sucked. Then First Contact hit.
Now, I will say I did like
But which one do you think?
Caligula. In,
Oh, you're talking about Generations?
yeah, in Generations.
Caligula. You're talking about?
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm
Is that who you're
Malcolm
trying to
McDowell.
brain part out? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, he was a great villain for that. I liked the movie. It wasn't the best movie they could have done, but
We'll watch
And I think-
Malcolm in anything.
well, yeah. I mean, Malcolm McDowell's like Robert Duvall,
Yeah.
or and I hate to say it, Keanu Reeves has gotten into that echelon now. Now that
Yeah.
he's stopped being Ted,
Yeah.
you know, in every movie.
Yeah.
Like you could do anything Keanu Reeves does is like, yeah, I want to watch that because he's the. We've talked about this before. He's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wish I was as cool as
I
him.
know,
but
right?
But no, Generations
wanna-
is a
I
decent
wanna-
movie. I just hate the way that Kirk got killed. I mean, like after all these years fighting the Gorn on Cestus 3 and
Yeah.
Yeah.
surviving
it was
the
a cheap
Tholian
move.
web, and you know, and you fell off a fucking bridge. Like, dude,
Yeah.
really? Like that was that was your big swan song? You fell off a fucking hill? You know? I was never an original. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get hate mail from Trekkies. I don't like the original series. I never did. Never was into it.
I can't really.
I like the
say
movies,
but I
anything
don't like
one
the
way.
shows.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, I
the
tried the
movies,
show.
'Cause I
and
love-
I like the show.
I love Scotty. He was my favorite character on the old series. But yeah, like I
Pavel.
never
And you
like
get
Paul.
him in Next Gen, so I mean,
Yeah.
every so often.
right. What? Who? Scotty? Yeah, he did
Yeah.
one episode, Relics,
Yep.
from I think it was like season 6, where he was trapped in the transporter for
Yeah.
100-something years, and then they beamed
Yeah.
him back onto the Enterprise D. And him and Geordi, they found the Dyson sphere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was super cool. Don't turn this into a Star Trek episode.
yeah.
This will be a 9-hour anthology if you start getting me going on Star Trek shit. I mean, you look around this fucking room. I mean, it's
It just came, you know. We mentioned that like
Picard season 3 though.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I.
It's everything Mandalorian wished it was in its last season. Like it's like.
Oh,
So you enjoyed Star Trek Picard?
man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
full
Well,
circle, full
Except
circle.
for so end of season 2,
Right.
they could have done a much better job on that.
I think they were phoning that,
that
season in.
that looked like. I liked the story. I thought the story was good.
Yeah,
But,
it's something Q would
You
have
know,
done to
when
him.
that when that mask opens up,
Yeah,
it was just like, yeah, come on,
Yeah.
guys. That low energy.
yeah.
Low energy. That looks horrible.
It does.
You're
It
talking about Butterface,
Agnes.
yeah,
The
Agnes.
Yeah.
babyface Borg.
She totally did not need to be in that
No.
series at all. She was worthless. She murdered the guy who, you know, tried to work on Data, and it's just like, oh, that's okay. She blatantly murdered him.
Yeah, I felt like the opening of season 2 kind of just ignored
Everything.
all of season 1.
yeah. That's
Like,
usually
it had no
how it
cohesion
goes.
whatsoever. And
Yeah.
then season 3 ignored both the first 2 seasons because they're like, oh, no, Data's not dead. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Right.
I did like the Data stuff in season 1, though,
Yeah.
the beginning and the
Oh
end.
yeah, yeah.
That and I
The
love
makeup
how.
was terrible on him.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah. I love how like the excuse all the time is just like, you know, well, you know, everybody else ages, so why not? Because that was Ganon's excuse that, you know, aging up with everybody, and then there's Data's, you know.
but I think
he
it was funny that she just made it an aesthetic choice. She was just like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to blend in.
Yeah.
It'd be off-putting to my friends if I was still, 22 years old or 25 years old, and my
That and the
Which
actress they
also-
got for young
Yeah.
Ganon, I actually liked her. I thought like her inflection was very whoopee.
yeah, I liked Guinan's awesome character.
Yeah, no, I love Guinan.
When she was on The View and she told Patrick Stewart she was going to do it, I was like, yes.
That's
Where would
awesome.
Guinan be hanging out? She would still know Picard. She would still
Yeah.
be phoning, involved in his life, I'm sure, on some level. And there she was. And Q was the easiest one because I remember when they said you're going to do a Q season, they're like, well, Delancey's so old now. He's like, yeah, but it's a snap of the thing.
Well, and
But
also,
he
have you
looks
seen him?
amazing.
And he still looks like Q. I mean,
Like,
he's-
Oh my god!
I saw him last year at the same con. He was
and
great.
I love how they gave him a goatee.
Yeah.
Because the whole goatee, the thing with Trek and goatees is
Bad
the
guys always
evil-
have a goatee.
Yep.
I thought that look is very. Did you watch the end credits on season 3?
Yeah.
Where he shows up again
Yeah.
and like, oh no, it's over for your father. I'm not
Yeah.
even through by a long shot fucking with you. you know?
It
Yeah.
was also nice. He was like, "Oh, you people think so linearly."
Yeah, right. The fact that he had like that outfit was great, like the pimp
yeah.
cape and the whole thing.
God,
Like he had such a dastardly villain thing going on.
Yes.
I mean, Delancey, I
Beautiful.
love Delancey, and
I love your
and
dad.
I loved
don't know you. Yeah.
I loved the call back to Moriarty. I
Yeah.
have to
Oh,
say,
yeah,
I
yeah.
really loved the call back to that.
I wish
that
they hadn't
was...
spoiled that though in the trailers.
See, I
What?
didn't know. I didn't know though. I
Because
never
I
saw
watched
the
the first trailer
trailers.
and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! He's gonna be a villain in the new." It's weird that you're gonna do a whole season on that guy, but it's a total bait and switch. It worked.
Yeah.
And the Changeling, same thing. Like, okay, are we gonna?
But it's like
man, I could not wait for that villain to die.
Which one?
Yeah.
T-Bot?
You talking about like
The Changeling
Yeah,
captain.
she was annoying.
A bit over the top.
I loved her in Pulp Fiction though, Honey Bunny, in the cafe.
Oh,
that was the same way.
nice. Okay, I thought she looked familiar. Yeah,
And her dad played a Klingon in Star Trek 6.
nice.
He
I mean,
was
no, she
General
she
Chang.
did a great job on the character, but yeah, the character was just a little over the top for me.
Yeah.
How does the Changeling smoke cigarettes though? That's what I couldn't figure out. Was the cigarette part of her, or was she actually just smoking a cigar?
Right? That's a good question.
That was the thing that always bothered me with
It's
Odo
just
too.
an aesthetic choice. It's just like she just
Right,
wanted
'cause
she doesn't have
all
lungs.
that- Yeah.
Why would she smoke cigars if she's a changeling?
Maybe the taste. I don't know. That's
She
a
doesn't
good-
have taste
that's-
buds either. She's a
Yeah.
changeling. What's the point? Same thing with Odo going back to
goo. She's a goo.
Yeah.
yeah. So the same thing with Odo when he would go into liquid form. Where would his comm badge go?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't making a comm badge that worked. It would have been just aesthetically on his
yeah.
uniform, but he would turn into that puddle of goo, and his badge would go. Wouldn't the badge
Well,
be
it's like-
laying in the?
It's like, how do the clothes,
That's them.
is that them?
Yeah, that's them. Their
That's
clothes
great.
are a part of them. They just use them to blend in.
Yeah.
So they're walking around naked all the time, basically.
Well, they explained it too in the holodeck also on what was it, Enterprise. Like when you went into the holodeck, you could have the holodeck generate your clothing too, because Riker would turn the program off and go back to his standard uniform and leave the holodeck.
Yeah. No, that's I know that with the holodeck.
Whereas
but
in
it's
Generations,
just-
they were actually wearing the outfits because they're out there at the sailing around on the ship, Clipper ship, and then he came back to the bridge wearing the captain's outfit. I guess it's a choice.
That was a good. That was a good start. That was a really good start to one of the movies.
Worf getting the plank removed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's retract the plank, number 1.
So this has been a Star Trek and Misk episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, a perverts in Star Trek episode.
Perverts of Picard.
You're gonna have to split this into 2.
Oh no, I've been in the habit of doing that.
Yeah. If there's some wonky cuts when you listen to these things, it's because we went on some weird tirade.
Yep.
Hey,
yep.
I feel like I did a pretty good job on the last one, splitting it up.
I listened to the first one. I haven't listened to the second one.
Which one?
The weed episode.
Okay.
Yeah, because we kind of did the same thing. It became like, what do you watch when you're getting high?
Yeah.
Star Trek.
I'm trying to remember
People
what
don't
the-
believe me though, because they like, oh, you're really that big of a trek? I'm like, dude, you don't
I know.
understand.
We
Like,
every
I watched.
time
I
we
believe
come
it.
here,
I believe
it's on the TV.
That's my background ambiance anytime. And now I found like Pluto TV has like 3 channels dedicated to nothing but Star Trek.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's
I
like
believe
a
it.
Next Gen channel, a Deep Space Nine, and a Voyager channel. And I'm like,
Nice.
I'll just flip through all 3 of them all day long. Like, oh,
Nice.
this episode sucks. I'll go to the.
I was kind of upset that they didn't get Janeway, that they didn't get Kate.
Yeah, there was actually talk about her in Picard season
dropped her
3.
a lot,
They did
yeah.
name drop her, yeah.
There
but
was
they couldn't.
a plan to have Kate Mulgrew on the season, and the Doctor was originally in the scripts too
Oh,
because
yeah, I
of
love
7
him,
of 9.
too.
It
Yeah.
makes sense, but again, it was financially and time-wise they couldn't make it work out. Because I think supposedly she was supposed to be in the last episode where Tuvok was telling her
Yeah.
she's being promoted
Gotcha.
to captain. It was going to be Janeway.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she's still mentoring Seven
Yeah.
even all these years later,
Yeah.
which I think would have been way more meaningful. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
there is a rumor going around that they want to do the same thing with Janeway, bring her back for a limited run series and
Nice.
see. She came back for Prodigy. So
I
it's
mean,
not
she
a
was
no.
doing
Yeah.
Orange is the New Black for a while.
She did the animated series for Nickelodeon though as Janeway, and that was kind of going to segue her in, but for whatever reason they dropped the ball with that show.
Yeah, I was kind of upset because they didn't for Dragon Age. She didn't come back for Dragon Age because she was Flemeth for all these years. yeah.
And she's got such an iconic Catherine
vo-
Hepburn
yeah.
type voice that you can't really.
Just that wispy, raspy, yeah.
You would know it anywhere.
That husky voice, yeah.
Of all the people that should have been in season 3, though, I think the Doctor would have been the one.
The Doctor would have been great. I always
Joe.
loved the Doctor.
The last episode of Voyager, if you watch it, he decided on Joe. Took you 30 years to come. Even Paris was giving him shit. It took you 30 years to come up with Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting married. I had to get something. Joe Zimmerman.
I need to rewatch Voyager.
It's
been a very long time.
The first 3 seasons are complete garbage, and then once you get Cass out of the way and 7 shows up, the show becomes
first one
lost.
I ever watched was when Tuvok and what was it, and Odo.
Not Odo.
No, it was the Ferengi, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Got merged. He merged.
You're talking
with
about
some...
Tuvok. It was Tuvix.
Tuvok. Yeah, Tuvix.
Yeah, where Tuvok and Neelix got combined into one guy. You said Odo.
Odo.
No, they were in a transporter accident and they got merged into one guy, and it was like a creepy, weird makeup that didn't look quite right.
It was like, it was a weird mix. Very weird mix.
That's
but that was the very first Voyager that I ever saw.
And that's another question
I don't know why I
need not
remember
to ask is like with Voyager being lost in the Delta Quadrant and they had multiple Vulcans on board, what about the Ponfar? They have to mate with somebody every 7 years or they go insane.
I don't want to think about what goes on in that ship then. Not at that point.
Unless you're saying that they were gay, and that's, completely acceptable too. But they never really... They had the lieutenant and engineer, and I can't remember his name. He had the hots for B'Elanna in the first couple of seasons. He had an issue in one of the episodes, but I think the Doctor tried to hologram a mate for him in the...
So that was what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
it.
So.
It wasn't effective because they had no emotion or feeling, so they can't... Which makes no sense either. If you're going with Vulcan logic, you're not supposed to have any emotions anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe chronic masturbation or something on Voyager. I don't know.
That's why I said I don't know if I want to be on that ship.
No love like self-love.
That's right. There was an episode of Lower Decks. I don't know if you watched that episode where they had to go in and clean out the buffers in the holodecks after everybody's in there.
I do want to watch it, but we haven't.
They literally had to go to a
that.
DNA reclamation thing and to get rid of all the bodily fluids left in the holodeck. It was like this horrible job that the Lower Decks people had to take care of. It's like so brilliant.
That's one that we really gotta watch.
Dakimakura's at an anime convention.
Yeah, yeah.
The Lower Decks is my biggest heartbreak in Star Trek because they canceled it after 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got to get
At least you
promoted
got
sooner or
5
later,
seasons.
but I get it. But God, that show was brilliant. They had an episode where they were on the ship and they had to go talk to the dolphins. That is such a weird Trek trivia nerd thing. Only a diehard Trekkie would know that reference. I mean, after the whale movie, The Voyage Home, every starship had two sea life animals on board, usually dolphins.
Yeah.
That lived and were actual crew members in case that came up again.
They just took that from Sequest.
They took that from... They stole that from Hitchhikers.
Yeah.
The dolphins are the smartest race on the planet.
Yeah.
But just the fact that some nerd on that writing staff was like, you know what, we're going to show you and they popped up regularly on the show. They would go down there and talk and drink beer with the 2 dolphins down in the tank, down their little dolphin enclosure.
I want a dolphin that talks.
Rule of
well, they had a universal translator.
You gotta have an animal.
Huh?
Rule of cartoon comedy shows: you gotta have an animal.
Yep.
Yeah, but they were like crew members though. They were chatting with. They have comm badges. They can understand them. So that makes sense to me. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. That's great.
If they don't do Star Trek Legacy though, Paramount, there's something wrong with them. They've been hammering for this because the end of Picard season 3 with Captain Seven and Raffi. I think they should have done a spinoff of Raffi and Worf.
Oh yeah,
that should have been the show.
That's what I thought the Section 31 was going to be.
That would have been killer, but no, they had to ruin some iconic thing from Star Trek with Michelle and it ain't her fault. I don't blame her at all. She's just getting a paycheck, and I don't blame her. But that show just, and everybody's just saying it's a heaping garbage fire.
Yeah.
You took one of the coolest aspects. You took the only like James Bond element in Star Trek and turned it into this stupid action flick that nobody cares about in an era of Star Trek that's going to be forgotten in 5 years. Because you go ask anybody, do you like Star Trek? Yeah, I love Next Gen. I love Voyager. I love Deep Space Nine. I love it. Nobody ever says I love Discovery.
Yeah, that's true.
That show is just a flaming ball of garbage.
People said that about Enterprise too, though.
I love Enterprise.
I remember.
That's probably
Like,
one of my. That's neck and neck is my favorite
didn't
series
like-
with Next Gen.
Well, that's what I remember is that a lot of people didn't like Enterprise. So
Well, Star Trek, it changes with the time, but I don't like
Yeah.
the Kelvin era, and I think even the studios are going like, "Oops, maybe rebooting Kirk wasn't such a great idea after all."
yeah,
But but is that the thing though? Because we were born and molded into this kind of pop culture thing, man. This wasn't like something that was going on, and it started in what, like around the mid to late 70s.
yeah. Generation X definitely was molded by pop culture.
But I
You
watched the new Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. It's a great show, but is it?
It just
Deep
doesn't have
Space
that
Nine?
feel. Yeah.
Is it?
Nothing's with Star Trek. Nothing's really caught that feeling of it.
If you're not watching Strange New Worlds, that's the best Star Trek
Not
we've gotten
yet.
in 40 fucking years, since Next Gen aired.
Oh, wow.
Like that show is Anson Mount that dude just oozes swagger and cool on that show. They've really hit it. Like that's the one new thing they've done that's firing on all cylinders right now.
Nice.
And I'll let you
Nice.
borrow it if you need to watch it because I got them all those too.
We've also got Paramount up.
Oh, then you don't.
upstairs.
Any upstairs TV,
Yeah, if you're not watching Strange New Worlds, that shit's fucking brilliant.
Okay.
Sadly, you have to watch a season of Discovery to get to it because it won't make any sense.
Okay, I gotcha.
Because the
Yeah, that's
Enterprise turns up, I think, in season 2 of Discovery, and it's Captain Pike, and he comes over, and there's shenanigans. But once he gets back to the Enterprise, it's on. It's awesome.
Nice.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, so why did Discovery fail? Where
Strange New Worlds, which is a continuation, is doing better.
And is it the wonky uniforms? Was it because I know Section
I don't
31 just came out, that movie, and apparently it's been getting just torpedoed by everybody. It's like this raging hunk of dumpster fire shit.
Well, I hate to say it, but you know why?
Why?
Because there's a woman at the forefront.
No, it's not Michelle Yeoh because she was awesome. I mean,
She
go back-
is awesome.
Yeah.
That woman
she's
does some amazing, cool TV shows.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that character was just garbage, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so kind of backtracking to Picard a little bit. I know the actress is amazing,
Yeah,
but I hate Raffi.
Yeah,
really.
I
Yeah.
cannot stand
I'm
her.
the same.
You know, it
There's
just
just
isn't.
something
She just
about
rubs
her.
me the wrong way when she gets very like high and mighty about a piece of advice that she's got that turns out to be the worst fucking decision anyone could have made.
Yep.
My whole thing with Rafi was like, okay, you go back to the first season. Here's this character that Picard has known for all of his life, all of her life anyway.
Yeah.
Where was she during the Next Gen era? Where was
Yeah.
this mention of
Next
this
Gen,
other?
the movies, yeah, it was. She felt kind of tacked in.
It just seemed like that
Yeah.
should have been a role that should have been like a B card because when you bring in like Ro Lauren in season 3, like holy shit,
God.
never saw that coming.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, Terry Matalas was. Yeah, I think Alex Kurtzman gave up on Picard after the second season, and he's the one that's ruining Star Trek. I think. I mean, he's the Discovery guy. The one good thing again was Strange New Worlds, but I wonder how much influence he's actually got on that show. Or is that Terry Matalas doing that? But you gave the show over to Terry in season 3, and he just went for full-on fanboy because he was a Trekkie. I mean, he's a die-hard Trek fanatic like us, so he knew what we wanted to see. I mean, the little bits with Sherlock Holmes, for God's sakes.
Yeah. The first episode, I think, first 5 minutes, Picard, is talking about his memories, and he picks up that flute.
Yeah, the
I lost
Raskin
it,
flute.
and I was like,
He started crying.
I started crying. It's my favorite episode.
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, we're in for a good ride.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to happen this season, I know we're in for a good ride.
Like the painting from the Enterprise behind his desk that was in the
Oh,
office
yeah.
for years and years
Yeah.
and years. I mean, there were so many little. He even had the little art thing that his professor gave him with all the little the little Russian doll thing that like had all the little miniatures inside of it, and it's like he had that sitting on one of the desks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff. They actually had a Bajoran artifact on his desk at one point from one of the Deep Space Nine episodes that Cisco found.
Nice.
I was like, how did he get that? Like, it's cool that it's there.
There's a story there.
Or you go back to season 1 of Picard when he went to his storage locker at Starfleet, and like he had all the crap from the ship. The Happy Picard Day sign was in there still, and just the little doll that Riker tried to swipe from him of Picard. But so yeah, what is the deal? What is it? Why is it not connecting? Is the fan base just changed? I mean, because it seems like they're trying to focus more on action nowadays than character development, and that's why Next Gen worked so well. And that's why all the shows after that worked really well.
Yeah.
There
really isn't a lot of like action, like physical action in Next Gen, but I mean, it's more like.
Well, they figured out real quick on Next Generation in the 3rd season. I think it was really like, hey, we need to stop going for plot device and go for character development.
Yeah.
And that's what made that show so good. And then they figured it out on DS9 fairly quick after. I've said this specifically about Star Trek always sucks the first 3 seasons. I don't care what show it is. Next Gen was terrible. The first season was almost unwatchable.
You
can generally tell based on the uniforms.
Yeah, like it has the lining, the little highlighted lining on the black areas, like because it has the zipper onesies, you know, and the men were running around in the skirt dress uniform thing.
And then eventually we get out of the onesie, and that's when you're in the hard, like this is the good shit.
Well, Star Trek. Well, Next Gen, it was season 3, like. You know, the beginning of that was the Borg season. That's when they found out they hit their stride, and that's when we lost Gene, I believe, or he was leaving the series due to health. And I think that the writers got a little bit more free reign, so they could start developing these relationships between these characters, these core characters, and they always kept trying to sprinkle new characters in along the way too, which was cool, like Rolaren and Wesley became a bigger deal.
Well, Commander Shelby.
Yeah. Commander Shelby showed up, and she was in Picard. That was killer too, as Admiral of Federation.
Yeah.
Again, that was one of the ones that scratched my head though. Like, why would this? I think even Worf had a line or something like, "Why would she go something that was so blatantly a Borg type maneuver of linking all the ships together?"
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. And you're going to tell me that's every single ship in the Federation? Like,
Well,
it couldn't be, because there's got to be people out doing deep space missions at that point.
Yeah. Well, it's also like at the very end. I liked the setup. I liked the lead in. I like Seven being captain of the new Enterprise.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was thrown by the
New Enterprise. That's right. Yeah, sorry, captain.
They renamed the Titan.
Yeah.
So.
I was thrown by the fact that like it's like, oh yes, and first mate / ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's a little bit of ethically
like
not
I know there's that whole conversation about gonna throw the book out the window with you. You just go do whatever. But I feel like that might be too far. Like there's too much of a conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
I mean that season of Picard was probably one of the best seasons of Star Trek we've ever seen. I mean, you had a guy like Captain Shaw.
I love.
Oh my
Shaw.
god!
You hated that fucker out of the gate. You're like, oh.
You hated him, and then more like as it goes along, you
start to like the guy.
I got this twinge like the first time someone had asked him permission to speak freely or something like that, and he goes no.
Yeah.
And then it was like, huh? And then they do it again, and he goes, no.
Yeah. No.
There was this little twinge in my little voice in my head that goes, "You're gonna like this guy before the end. You're really gonna like this guy."
I woke up, and
he was at Birmingham Comic-Con last year, and me and Kelly went and met him, and he actually signed his photo as Captain Dipshit, and then in parentheses, no. I was like, this guy is my hero, man.
Love it.
It was just such a brilliant show. But yeah, I mean. And then Chekhov making an appearance on Picard. That was trying to throw it all the way back to the very beginning. Apparently there was a hoopla about trying to get Shatner to come in and do something, but he just outright said no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had a good out.
Yeah.
You know, his last 4 a.m. That was a pretty good one. So.
Yeah.
What's that? The Shatner?
Yeah.
What, Generations?
Like his last guest appearance.
Oh yeah, was was it Generations?
I want to say it was Generations.
Possibly.
He just did that little fan film thing with Kirk dying. Have you seen that online? Like,
Oh no.
Yeah, like he actually went in and filmed like this 20-minute little mini film, like fan film of like him dying, and he's walking to the light, and there's Spock, and he comes to Spock's funeral and sees Spock again, and then he keeps on going, and then he's kind of staring at himself through this like multiverse of all the different versions of him, and it was awesome.
Oh.
Like, and I don't know why
cool.
they did it, but it was cool.
Yeah.
I think they had to like CG him down in age or whatever to do it, but
Sometimes the fan films that come out are insane. So.
well, Vic Mignola, he's doing a bunch of them. If you've not seen Star Trek Continues on YouTube, you know Vic, yeah, he was voice of Broly on Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he spent his entire fortune as a Star Trek nerd. It's how he and I became friends. I think I was wearing like, that yellow Worf hoodie, and I was sitting next to him at a con, and he's like, "Do you like Star Trek?" And I'm like, "Fuck yes." And he's like, "You think you like Star Trek? Let me show you." And that dude's collection is insane. He's got like a 6-7 foot model of the original Enterprise in his living room, like a actual legit one. Like,
shit.
Yeah, the dude's collection is insane. But anyway, he did a bunch of fan films. He helped invest into recreating the Enterprise bridge, and it was in Kingsland, Georgia. And I've been to it many times, but he's moved it now to Ohio to an abandoned mall, I guess, for space. And But anyway, if you've not watched it, Star Trek Continues on YouTube. They're free, and that was the reason why Paramount did the cease and desist order on fan films for Star Trek, because their shit was just as good as anything Paramount was putting out, if not better.
Yeah. Well,
And Vic
Paramount needed to step up, so.
Yeah.
And when he rebuilt those sets, him and his business partner, like, they're dead on. Like, I'm a diehard Trek, and again, I don't like the original series, but I can tell you anything you need to know about it. And the set, I mean, it wasn't just the bridge; it was sick bay and Kirk's quarters and Spock's quarters and Jeffrey's tubes and a shuttle bay and engineering. I mean, it's. And what was cool is he would allow anybody who wants to shoot a film, as long as you schedule it ahead of time, they'll let you use it. They don't charge anything for it. They're just like, hey, you got a cool idea for a Star Trek fan film? Come on down. Well, we've got the stuff for you.
Nice.
You know, you had to provide your own uniforms and props, but the sets are there. You know, if you need a ship, we've got you a ship. And the Continues was basically, he did 10 one-hour episodes of what happened from the last episode of the original series to the first motion picture movie. What went on in that? Because, you know, we only got 4 years out of the 5-year mission. So what was that last year? And, like, James Doohan's son is playing Scotty, and he's a dead ringer for his father. I mean, it's it's insane. And Vic is impeccably good as Captain Kirk. I mean, again, all the swagger in the world, he's got him down to a T. I know people, you know, say what you will about the guy. I love him. I think he's great. But his Star Trek episodes were awesome. You should watch them. He had guest stars. I think, like, George Takei did one. John Delancey did one. He had all his, like, Comic-Con friends coming in. Lou Ferrigno's in an episode.
I'll have to bring it next time.
Your would-be girlfriend, Gigi Edgley, did one.
Yep.
Plays Galeman in the show.
Gigi.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet her someday. I swear.
The fact that we've had her prank call you twice.
I know, right?
She's going to be within, like, you know what? That's going to be a mission for me. She'll be around here one of these days. I'm going to call her, but, like, you're doing a con within, like, an hour of my house. We're just going to set this up and torpedo you at a show. Like, yeah, let's go do a podcast live from the con. Just have her be a guest. And then watch you sit there and drool off for, like, 20 minutes and not say anything.
Accurate.
Not once, but twice.
The only time that he'd be on film, just to watch his face.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gigi Edgley does it for you, huh?
I mean, yeah.
Again,
always has.
and again, I hope the rumors are true. I've been reading these, like, little snippets that, like, Punk is going to be doing a Farscape
Nice
reboot. CM Punk.
I know that they've been talking about a reboot for Farscape.
I know WWE champion Becky Lynch. She's on the new Star Trek Starfleet Academy series. She's going to be the pilot of the new ship, which I thought it's kind of rad. I mean, like, man, you talk about nerd love, man. You're a former WWE women's champion, and then now you've got the Star Trek nerd base behind you. It's like, she's set for life. Her and Seth Rollins are good to go, man.
Yep. I was just gonna say, just building the army there going.
The nerd army.
Yep. Yep.
What's going to be really weird for her is when she goes to these wrestle cons to sign pictures, and the Star Trek nerds are going to start turning up at like the wrestling conventions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guys in the full outfit, the full homemade Borg costume, asking her for a photo. It's going to be great. I don't think Becky's ready for that kind of attention yet. I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
It's like the Trekkie cosplayers who end up going to Ren fairs in their costume.
Yeah, that whole thing started with, what was it, the Big Bang Theory. And now every time you go to a Ren fair, there's always...
Fair, they were doing
King of the
that
Hill did
before.
it first.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Dale.
Dale's dressed up as a Star Trek character and then went to the Ren fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
On an away team mission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that joke's played out.
I think it's funny. That's,
But hey, man, do you. If you want to dress up like a Yeoman Rand or something, yeah, do it, man.
Go for it.
There's a whole subculture there. It's like, nerds, why you dress up like that? Well, do you play for the Dallas Cowboys? No, then why are you wearing the jersey,
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy how long it took, like, people to have that realization, have that light bulb, spark on to where it's like, what do you think sports is?
Well,
it's just fandom. It's just a different type.
It's the same thing with, people watching, people play video games on the internet. Gabriel Iglesias talking about, talking to his son about it. Like, why do you could play this video game? Why are you watching someone else?
Why you watch football?
Why do you watch football? Why aren't you playing football? It's like, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yep.
I don't bag on anybody. I thought about this the other night. Even you could even take like furries or bronies, and sure, they're an easy target, but there's something there that they love, and I ain't gonna bag on that.
Oh, yeah. No.
As long as you're not being like a creep or anything weird,
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, how many perverts are Star Trek fans? So everybody's got their thing.
As the song goes, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
There you go.
Yep.
Zing. But if you watch Picard, look what happened. Like we introduced Captain Shaw and we introduced Rafi, and how many people wish that Captain Shaw had his own show now?
Yeah, right.
I would watch that.
We said
I would watch that.
We said that.
I was like, I hope he gets a show.
Yeah.
Even if it's a prequel before that happened with him dying, I'll take it.
That was the whole thing. Like, I woke up at the end and I noticed the hologram. I'm like, I hope he doesn't die.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Star Trek nailed it though, because I don't know if you watched Enterprise. They had a Borg episode where, like, in Star Trek First Contact, the Enterprise chases the Borg sphere back in time to like the year 22, whatever.
Yeah.
And the Borg sphere crashes, and everybody kept saying, well, what happened to the debris from the Borg cube? Because some of that would have landed on it. Well, in Enterprise, they found it. It was buried in the ice in Antarctica, and that's what started the Borg. And it started this whole chicken and the egg thing in Star Trek. Did Q really bring the Borg, or were the Borg already here and they sent a message and brought them back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like,
have to watch
I love clever shit like that. And that episode was awesome. Like, what was it? Dr. Phlox got assimilated by the Borg. Because his Denobulan physiology, it was slower, so he was like having a slow Borg transformation. It was like horrible. It was like a horror movie. Like he's fighting it and trying to come up with a cure.
I'll have to look for that one.
Yeah.
And just as they destroyed the little Borg ship that they made to get off of Earth, they sent a signal out into deep space. So it's like, is that why they were coming in Next Gen? Because they were finally, 100 years later, they were coming back.
Finally made,
200 years later, they'd gotten the signal and they've been on their way this entire... I love stuff like that.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's the show. Yeah.
So several
episodes of a show. How long have we been going?
2.5 hours.
Okay, yeah, we got like 3 fucking episodes in there.
If not more.
Well, right on.
Thanks
for tuning in. And, well, here's the next 3 episodes of the show.
Yeah.
And some kind of amalgam configuration.
I'll figure it out.
Peace and long life.
Bye. You both just looked at me. I'm like, wait a minute. What? Oh, bye. I think I'm hungry. I think that's the